Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Thursday. It's Coach Tam. And today I want to talk to those of you that, like me, may have a tendency to procrastinate. Did you know that procrastination isn't quite what it's been chalked up to be? It's actually pretty common among high performers. People that tend to do well in a lot of areas in their lives can also be procrastinators. People that are perfectionists, good morning, Kathy, can also be procrastinators because we want to do things to such a high level. And we may have been raised or conditioned through our experiences to believe it's all or nothing. I either got to do it all and knock it out of the park at a 10 level, or it's not good enough, right? So contrary to what you may have heard, procrastination is not associated with laziness, but with a desire to do something at your best level. So I want to talk to you today about a technique that I have been able to use in my life to be able to move forward on areas that we have a tendency to procrastinate on. Now, before I do that, I want to remind you of three things. Number one, there is a drawing for us to work together for 30 days to give you a breakthrough in a particular area of your life. It could be anything that is on your heart that God has challenged you to do, but maybe you're having trouble making progress with. So check out the link in the comments to enter the drawing. And then secondly, if you're ready to get started now, there is a link where you can apply for a call with me. We'll talk through the issues that you're experiencing, and I'm going to give you some best next steps on what to do, and then you can decide whether you want to execute them on your own or if you'd like to work with me. And then last but not least, if you're here in the Charlotte area and you're ready to get back on your healthy eating plan and your exercise kick, I want you to go on over to our website and register for 2 weeks free so that you can work out in our faith-filled community and get the support that you need. With that said, let's talk about how to move forward in an area that you have been procrastinating in. It could be getting back to the pursuit of your weight loss goal, maybe moving further or launching the business. It could be writing the book. I talk to a lot of people that have a book in them, but they haven't actually put it on paper, or they've started to, and then they stop. So the question is, first of all, I always like to know the why. So I like to spend time actually studying the brain and motivation and what keeps us from moving forward in the areas that we desire to see progress in. And here's what we know. We know that when we're not making progress with something, it's because there's a degree of pain or discomfort associated with the task. So what does that mean, Coach Tam? That means that, hey, although the promise of what I want to do, being able to run my own business, control my own hours, being able to make a positive contribution by employing people, even though those things are exciting, when I think about the process of getting there, writing the business plan, raising the money for the startup, all of those things, I associate that with discomfort and pain. And so because our brain tends to focus on pain more than pleasure, then that actually repels us from moving forward with the task. Then there are also feelings like overwhelm. Like the task that I have before me is just way too big for me. Good morning, Montez. Is way too big for me to tackle. Every time I think about it, I'm just overwhelmed by all that is involved. So in this situation, we're seeing the task is really, really huge, and we're seeing ourselves as small. And because we have that viewpoint, almost like if you were go back to scripture, there was a time when they said, we were grasshoppers in their eyes. They felt so small, and because they felt small, they didn't take the action that Joshua and Caleb asked them to do to go into the promised land. Well, that happens to us today as well. So the question is, Coach Tam, how do I move past this when I know that I have something I need to do, but I'm not making progress? Well, my first piece of advice, and there are three, is to chunk it down. One of the reasons that we get overwhelmed and that the project seems so big is because we're thinking about the end goal, where we need to be when we're all said and done, right? So if it's losing weight, oh my gosh, I've got to lose 50 pounds. And while that may be our ultimate goal, what we need to do is chunk that down and make it something smaller and measurable so that we're not thinking about that big number. So one of the things that I teach my clients to do is to focus on the next 30 days. Okay, the goal is 50 pounds. this 30-day period, what do we need to accomplish? So if we break it down, maybe that goal is I need to lose 7 pounds, 8 pounds this month. And then we take that 7, 8 pound goal and we break it down into a weekly basis. So now what I'm doing is looking to lose 2 pounds a week. 2 pounds a week sounds much more manageable than 50 pounds. So if you're having trouble making progress, one of the first things that I want to challenge you to do is take that big goal and chunk it down, break it down into something. What do I need to get done in the next 30 days? And then what does that look like on a weekly basis? And then it's what are the daily actions that I need to take to make that weekly goal a reality? All right. So number one, chunk it down. And then the second thing is to do it early. Here's what we know about the science of motivation is the longer we go in the day, the more our motivation declines. All right. So that's one of the reasons that I personally prefer to work out in the morning, because I know that as the day progresses and all that life brings as we go through our day, that your motivation level tends to decline. But it doesn't just pertain to workouts, ladies and gentlemen. It applies to everything. It's proven. Our motivation and willpower is strongest in the morning. So I want to challenge you to put whatever it is that you've been procrastinating on your to-do list early in the day. So maybe it's working out early in the morning. Maybe it is setting aside 30 minutes to work on the business plan every morning before you head to work. Because when you get home, you're going to be tired and it's easy to put it off. All right. So chunk it down, do it early when your motivation level is highest. And then third, another tip that I find to be really effective is to create a reward. I talked about how the reason that we don't get started with this thing, or we start and we stop, is because of the pain associated with it. And when our brain senses pain, it wants no part of what we need to do. But if you can add a little bit of pleasure on the other side of the completion of the task, then it gives you a motivator. It gives you a carrot, something to move you forward. So maybe there is a reward that you can put in place for completing your goal. So for example, for those of us that love social media or love to watch TV, the way that we can position it to ourselves is, hey, I'm going to spend 30 minutes on this task before I watch TV. So what happens is the TV time, being able to watch our favorite show, becomes the reward. Or maybe it's a weight loss goal that you're after, and your goal is to lose 8 pounds over the course of your first 30 days. Maybe you dangle a carrot like, I'm going to get to give myself a massage. I'm going to sign up and I'm going to get a massage once I reach my goal. So now you're focused on the fact that, hey, if I do this, if I reach my goals and I stay focused, there's something positive on the other side of it. All right, so those are my 3 tips for the day. And I've got more, but we're out of time. Those are my 3 tips for the day. Chunk it down. Make it something that's reasonable, that your brain doesn't wig out about because it feels like it's too big and impossible. Secondly, make sure that you do it early. The longer you wait in the day to take action on it, or for example, if it's meal planning, the later you wait in the day on Saturday or Sunday, it's going to be harder. You need to get it done early in the day when your motivation is highest. And then last but not least, attach a reward to the completion of the task to incentivize you to move forward. Well, I hope that you have found this tip helpful. If you have, give me a like and be sure to share it so that your friends and your family can benefit too. I'll be back tomorrow with more tips. Have a great day and God bless.